Hi, this is Lauren with Craft Some Joy. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome. I hope you take some time to look at all the different videos that are available on my channel and get some ideas on organizing and scrapbooking and just how you can approach your creative projects. And if you are a subscriber, then I want to say a great big thank you. Thank you for your subscription. You are the heart of my YouTube channel. Well, today I am super excited because we are starting something that is brand new here on my channel, and it is the POP series, which is Progress on Projects. And I have been doing a lot of preparation to bring this series to you. And I want to first of all just say thank you to everyone who did write in and say that they were with me, that they were interested in joining me in this journey to figure out just how we're going to make a lot of things happen this year and all the years to come with all of our creative projects. So I am excited for all of you who are here taking this journey with me. Now, I just also wanted to give you a little information about how I want to approach this series. There is a lot of information, and I know that sometimes the way we need to absorb information is to just take small bits at a time. And so I am trying to design this series into smaller episodes with a certain amount of information that you will have and you'll be able to reference back, but just enough information that'll get you set up to do one task or one part of the process, and then we'll just keep going. Now, my goal is to upload videos a little more frequently so that we can kind of keep going as we're moving along this process. So I'm hoping that's going to happen. And some of the videos may be a little more casual than some of my other videos, but anyhow, I do want to get this information out to you in a timely manner. So that is my goal. Now, another thing I just want to mention is that there is a little bit of setup in order to get ready to do this process with me. And so today's video, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the forms that I've created for you, and those are all free downloadable forms from my website, and how to get your organizer set up so that you can access those forms, and then future videos will be actually going through step by step, going through all the different forms. So again, those manageable chunks of information. Now, I am hoping with this process of getting set up and organized and having a plan and having a system on how to approach the different album projects that you want to do, I am hoping that what happens is that the guilt and the stress around creating wonderful albums for you and your family will just disappear. I'm hoping that we're going to get back into the wonderful reason why we scrapbook in the first place, which is to have fun creatively and also to create meaningful scrapbook pages. And one of the ways we do create meaningful pages is to take a look at the story behind the photographs. And as you've probably seen from other videos on my channel, I have a very simple way of approaching my album pages as well. And so part of my plan is also to share more about my album making strategy and how I create my pages. But in order to do that, we first have to have our big picture nailed down and figured out. So that is the first step. And I'm really excited to share that with you today. So let's pop on over and get started. Now, I'd also like to approach this series as a community experience, which means I would love your comments and your feedback and your questions. So make sure you take the time to leave those for me as we go through these different episodes. And I'd love to hear your feedback. So make sure you leave those in the comments section for me. I have been doing a lot of behind the scenes work at getting set up for this series, and one of the things I've been working on is getting a set of templates ready for you. And these templates are now able to get downloaded, and you can just pop over to my website at craftsomejoy.com and print out these templates for yourself. They are a free download, and you will just go to the shop button and then click the free downloads. So today's episode, we are going to do some setup and a little housekeeping so that you can get organized and ready to create your own system and get started on your own projects. So first of all, what you'll need to do is go to the website and print out the templates, and there's going to be two that you need to print. One is the Progress on Projects templates, and these are all designed to fit in the classic Happy Planner. And you will also need to print out the Timeline Tracker and the Project Tracker, and this is in a separate download. So the Progress on Projects trackers are all designed for the classic Happy Planner size. And so what I did in order to print these templates is I took some regular 8.5 by 11 size paper and I cut it down to the Happy Planner size. And then I was able to feed this size through my printer so that it would print exactly the size that I needed to fit into my Happy Planner. And a little tip, if you have a large format paper cutter, I just took some washi tape and taped out the exact size of the Happy Planner sheet so that I wouldn't have to keep measuring with the rulers every time. So if you have one of these, that's a good way to do it, and you can cut several sheets at a time and then make a stack so that you can just print all of these at once. Now, if you don't have a Happy Planner or you don't want to use the Happy Planner format, you just can adjust the templates on your printer to print at the normal 8.5 by 11 size, and you could even use a 3-ring binder to do the same type of setup. Now, just a word on the Happy Planner. I ended up finding this Happy Planner at Tuesday Morning, and I think it was $9.95. The reason I decided to use this for my project planner was that it had a good size ring to it, and also it had a lot of tabs. Now, since this was originally an undated calendar, all of the tabs were blank, which was important to me because I wanted to make sure that I could label the tabs so that I could use this planner the way that I needed to for my projects. So if you have a Happy Planner, you can also take different covers and rings and tabs and put this together yourself, but this was the one that I used and it worked out really well. Now, also, I just want to mention, in case you are a stationery aficionado like I am, I do love beautiful paper when I'm printing out something that I know I'm going to be handling quite a bit. And so this is just a nice heavyweight premium laser paper. And if you're interested in this as well as any of the different things that I'm going to share, I will have everything linked in the description box. So make sure you click that little arrow and you can see all the different materials and things that I'm using to get set up. Another thing that I used in order to get my tabs all organized was the Brother P-Touch label maker. And I did actually recently order this so that I could try it out and make sure it was something I would recommend. And I do love it. It's a great little machine, and it does have a cord. And that was one of the main things that was important to me when finding a good label maker. Was I get so tired of trying to find batteries around my house. So I needed one that was able to be plugged in, and so I never had to worry about batteries. So I did order the Brother P-Touch. And in order to make these cute little labels, and it has a really fun font here as well, and so I liked that feature for the P-Touch. But I also ordered the clear tape from Amazon. It came in a 3-pack. It was very reasonable, and so I did order that in order to make the clear labels to go along the sides. Now, as you put your pop organizer together, you are going to need a few other supplies. One of them is a punch so that you can add the pages into the planner. There are a lot of different ways that you can get the little mushroom style punch to your pages, and I did review some different items in my video called Update 2020. But for this one, I am using the Create 365 Happy Planner Punch. And once I have the templates printed, I just slide those in. You can usually punch 3 or 4 at a time. And then go ahead and punch those, and then they're ready to go right into your planner. So make sure you have something available that you can use in order to create the punch to go into your planner if you're using the Happy Planner format. Okay, so now you've got your templates printed and your paper punched. Now I'm just going to give you an overview on how to set up your Progress on Projects organizer. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on all the different templates because we're going to go through that as this series progresses, but I do want to give you an idea how I have this set up so that if you want to follow along, you can do the same. So the first couple of pages I want you to include in the very front of your planner, and that is the title page, Progress on Projects, and there's a space here for your name. The next thing I want you to put behind that page is the photo organization tips that I gave you. It's a little flow chart for printed photos, and I'm going to come back to this, but for now just pop that in behind your title page. And then I have a sheet here called Getting Started, and I want you to put that in the front as well. So there's going to be 3 pages in the front of your pop planner. Okay, and we'll come back to those, so don't worry. Then my very first tab that I have set up for my planner is the timeline tab. So I just again took my P-Touch and I printed out actually several of these at once, and then cut them apart and stuck them down on the tabs. Now what was really helpful when using this clear tape is to have the multi-purpose tool. This one is from Creative Memories, and it just helps you get that right on the edge there and I don't know, I just have such a hard time with my fingers, so this is helpful to get those labels down just where you want them. So I had that handy, as well as a pair of scissors to trim the tags. Okay, the first tab that I want to show you in my pop planner is the timeline tab, and behind this tab I have my timeline trackers. And I'm going to have you print these on 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And the reason I'm having you put these on cardstock is because what I found is that I actually reference these trackers quite a bit. And it really is a good resource to have once you get these set up. So it was nice to have them on a sturdier piece of paper. Again, this might be a template. Some of the templates as I go through, you'll need to print more than one. And this is again one of those. I have this tracker set up by decade. So I have 10 spots here, so you can put 10 years down the side. And so for each decade, you'll want to print a separate tracker. So in order to get this to fit into the Happy Planner, again, you can see this is too large to fit in there. That's a simple solution. So what you're going to do is just score your tracker. And I'm using the Creative Memories paper cutter, which I absolutely love. And I have a review and more details on that in my 5 favorite Creative Memories tools video. But I do have the scoring blade in the carrier, and so I'm just going to put this just slightly under 7 inches, and then I'm just going to run my blade down and score the paper. And you can see that it just makes a nice, easy score line so you can fold. This is great for all sorts of crafts. I do love that scoring blade. Now, once I have that, I also want to make sure to punch this tracker with the Happy Planner punch, and it's not going to go all the way like a normal Happy Planner size paper, but it does fit all of the different punches along the side, so that then it can slip right into your planner. Okay, so now your tracker is ready to go and you're set with your timeline tracker. Now you can do the same thing for the project tracker, and again, as I mentioned, the timeline tracker, you may need a few of those so that you can have different decades represented. Okay, so that's the first tab to get set up, is your timeline tab. So once you have your timeline trackers put behind your timeline tab, the next tab that I have in my planner is the album tracker. And behind this would go all of the templates that have album tracker at the top. This is just a general overview of all the different albums that you've already completed so that you can celebrate that. You can celebrate that you are already in process, or you have completed, or you're even thinking about these different types of albums. So those all go down on the album tracker. This tracker also does have a date column and a subject column, so you can keep track of which albums they are, and also a status column. So an S is not started, IP is in process, and C is complete. So you can go ahead and check which one of those columns works for you. Okay, now we're getting into the exciting part where I am going to show you the 3 different tabs that I have set up for the 3 different types of album projects that I'm going to be working on. And as I mentioned in my last video, I am going to be doing Big Moments chronological scrapbooking, theme albums, and also Library of Memories style albums. So those 3 types of albums, I needed to find a way to keep track of and organize and kind of have a system moving forward. So this is what I've created to help along that process. So first of all, the next tab is going to be my big moments. So as I mentioned before, the way that I'm going to be able to continue chronologically scrapbooking, which is the way I had originally started, was to narrow that down and focus just on the big moments throughout the year. And those moments will change year to year depending on the photos and the events that happened. So I gave you, first of all, an overview sheet just to kind of get you thinking about what type of events are big moments for you. And there's a space here where you can write your own. And then I gave you a tracker. So this is a form that you would want to print several of. So for each year that you plan on doing a chronological scrapbook, a chronological big moment scrapbook, you could write the year and then fill out this form. And I'll be going through this with you in more detail, but I just kind of wanted to give you that overview. So this will look different for everyone. Your big moments are going to be very different than my big moments. So it's a lot of blank space for you to make it your own. Okay, so the next tab I have set up is for theme albums. And again, this is a personal choice on what types of albums you want to create, but I'm going to show you a setup that I have for my albums. So under the theme albums tab, you will put your theme scrapbooking overview. And so what I've done is created a template with different types of theme albums that may be interesting for you to create, and I know are on my list of different types of albums that I want to create. So once you have decided on a particular album that you would like to create, and it's a theme album, you can use the following templates in order to make some notes and keep track of that. And that is the album project template. And you can see it's got some space here to write down what you'd like to include in that album, as well as the title of your album and a tag or keyword, and I'll talk more about that later. as well as the album project template. Now this was the original template that I had made for keeping track of your album projects, where you also have a space to keep track of the supplies, the status, and the progress of each of your album projects. So these two templates can be used together for each type of album project. Or if you feel like you just want to use one or the other, that's fine too. It's all up to you and what works for you. So that's the overview of the different theme albums. One of the things that I realized for my album making is that there are two other types of theme albums that I will be making regularly. And so I went ahead and made two separate tabs in my planner for those. One of them is vacations, because we do take a lot of vacations and I always love having those vacation pictures in their own album. And also my kids, because I love my kids too. And they all are going to have their own albums as well. So those are two extra tabs. And again, I'm using the same album project templates to keep track of those types of albums. Those are the theme albums that I have. The general theme albums, then I have a separate tab for the kids and for vacations. So if you want to just keep everything behind the theme albums tab, that's fine too. It's all up to you and what works for you. Now what's really exciting is this next tab, because this is kind of a new venture for me and something I haven't tried before, but I did mention this in my last video, and that is the Library of Memories style of scrapbooking. And as I mentioned before, Stacy Julian is the one who came up with this idea of Library of Memories. And if you'd like to find out more, you can visit her at stacyjulian.com. And she has wonderful resources on her website for you to check out. And so in order to kind of get a handle on this big project of Library of Memories, I decided to create some templates to help along the way. Now, a lot of people I know, and when I first kind of read about photo freedom and the Library of Memories, I was really confused. And it took some time and some talking it out and thinking it through for me to kind of get an idea of how this was going to fit into my album making. And I finally feel like I have figured it out. So Library of Memories is going to help with that big chunk of photos that's left after I've taken out my chronological photos and after I've taken out my theme photos. You still have all of those wonderful, wonderful day-to-day photos that you just take of everyday life, things that you really just enjoy and love and want to remember about your family. And that is what Library of Memories is all about. So instead of trying to stick all of those photos into a chronological format, now we're going to take all of those photos and put those into different categories and create some really meaningful scrapbooking pages, create some really meaningful connections with those photographs, because we're going to look at them over time. So I'm super excited about these pages. I've already got a lot of them formulated in my head, but I'm really, really excited about the Library of Memories. So this format of scrapbooking, there are 4 different categories. There's things we do, places we go, people we love, and all about us. And I am going to get into more detail about each of those categories, but I am not going to do that right now because there's a lot of information there. But I just want to show you how I do have that set up with a tab for Library of Memories right here. And then you put those pages behind the Library of Memories tab. All of the different templates that I have set up for you. And we'll go through all of this with you, so don't worry about that. Now, just to finish up my pop organizer, I gave you a few other templates and I did create tabs for those as well. One of them is for printing, one of them is for keywords, one is for supplies, and one is for notes. So the printing tab is going to have the print tracker, which I have already previously designed and shared with you, but we will be coming back and revisiting the print tracker. I've also included a new tracker, which is a tag or keyword tracker, and I'll have more information on how to use that as well. You'll have a supplies tracker where you can keep track of your supplies. Also a notes tracker. Oops, and I don't want to forget one last wish list. And you can keep track of all of the things that you'd like to purchase right there on your wish list. Okay, so that is the overview setup on the Progress on Projects organizer. So again, just so you can see the tabs that I have set up for my Progress on Projects organizer, the tabs that I have are Timeline, Album Tracker, Big Moments. Then after Big Moments, I have my theme albums, and I did separate out my kids albums and my vacation albums, which are theme type albums. After theme albums, I have my library of memories, and we'll be talking more about library of memories. And then after the library of memories, I have kind of the miscellaneous tabs, printing, keywords, supplies, notes, and let's not forget about our wish list. Okay, so there it is. That's how I have my POP organizer set up. And I'm really excited on sharing with you how to use each one of these forms and templates and getting you started on making progress on your projects. So stay tuned for episode 2, and we will start getting into each one of these templates and exactly how to use them and how to get yourself organized and motivated and make that progress. I know sometimes it looks like, oh gosh, there's a lot to getting set up, but you will be so happy to have this at your fingertips and ready to make that progress. So until next time, I hope you take some time to get yourself organized and set up, and I'll see you in episode 2. Take care.